Hello, everyone. This is the Commerce Experience Podcast. As a show, we provide professionals with insights and tools to thrive in this ever evolving space of e commerce. I'm your host, Elena Kachan, Senior Community and Social Media Manager at Bloomreach. We're a little over a year and a half into the generative AI explosion, and hype is officially turning into intent. From delivering impactful marketing campaigns to curating relevant product discovery experiences, AI is changing the way we think about retail. So, since community is one of our favorite ways to connect with thought leaders in this e commerce space, we've invited two guests to join us today. Please welcome Andy Laudato, COO at the Vitamin Shoppe, whose team works directly with Bloomreach, and Josh Baumrind, Chief Partnership Officer at the Retail AI Council. I recently met Josh at the Shop Talk Spring Conference, and they are both big players in their respective fields. And they've cultivated a thriving community dedicated to helping retailers embrace the transformative potential of AI. So I'm very excited to get into it with you both. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Elena. Thanks for having us.
Nice to be here.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. I've been so looking forward to this conversation since we met at Shop Talk, Josh. And I wanted to get familiar with the Retail AI Council to kick us off. So, Andy, could you elaborate on your role for the council and maybe talk about the council's mission, goals, maybe impact so far on the commerce industry? And then, Josh, you can kick us off with your role as well.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me, Elena. Thrilled to be here and talk about one of my favorite subjects. So I am the COO at the Vitamin Shoppe. That's my full-time job. But on the side, I am really excited to be involved with the Retail AI Council as the chairman and one of the co-founders. Our mission at the Retail AI Council is to bring together retailers, industry partners, analysts, and educators so that we can all learn together. We all believe that we're better together. And so we're there to learn and to grow and to share success stories with each other. The Retail AI Council is free to join, and anyone can join by going to retailaicouncil.com.
Josh, do you want to kick us off with your role and anything else you want to add for the Retail AI Council?
Sure. Thanks, Elena, and good to be here as well. My role at the Retail AI Council is to be the Chief Partner Officer and represent the voice of the partner ecosystem. Partners in our mind are consultants, agencies, system integrators, technology, anybody that's not a retailer. We consider partners. And I joined the council shortly after it started to represent that voice and recognizing that there is a big gap and an opportunity here to educate the retail industry on what AI can deliver in form of value. My role is to bridge the two groups, bring the voice of the partner community to the retailers such that we can deliver value. And as Andy said, make everybody better together.
I love that you guys bridge the gap because that's essentially what we're trying to do here. And I think that a lot of retailers want to learn from other retailers on what they should be looking at and what they should know when it comes to AI. I'm curious if you have any stories that come up that highlighted the need for the council. Like what actually got the ball rolling for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, the AI is changing so rapidly and it's expanding and growing. And so a big part of the need is to make sure that we're all up to date on what we can and can't do and where it's going. And really to separate what's real from hype. I mean, when you ask me about stories, I was working with an AI company that was in name only. Behind the scenes, I determined were humans kind of answering them. And I guess that's a fake it till you make it kind of a ploy. But we also heard about even Amazon came out and admitted that their just walk out technology that's really kind of amazing as a consumer, even that had human beings, army of human beings behind kind of identifying it. So what we're going to do together is as things evolve and grow to make sure we're all keeping up to date as a group.
No, I love that. And I think that you have to peel back the curtain a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap between what the technology companies are doing and then what the retailers know about AI. I recently read that as many as 73% of shoppers believe that AI could help improve the customer experience. And with those numbers, it seems like retailers would be on board with AI education and enablement and implementation. Is that the response that you're seeing, or is there any resistance from the retailer perspective?
Yeah, I think as a consumer, what do you want from your partners, right? You want it to have content that's relevant. things that are relevant to you. If you own a dog, you don't want to get a bunch of ads for cat food, or if you bought a pair of binoculars, you don't want your feed filled up with binoculars for the next 2 months because you already made that purchase. And so consumers want to have relevant content. When the consumer shows up at a store on a website, they want the items to be in stock. So using AI on the back end to improve inventory, to improve marketing messages, to improve speed, more timely, being able to ship, better up-to-date information about where is your shipment. I mean, we can go on and on, but I think consumers are smart enough to know that this technology somehow will be used to make their experience in shopping and purchasing easier, faster, and more convenient.
It's almost like the retailers know that they have to implement some of that to keep up with consumer demand. That's what we're seeing a lot.
And I'll add to that, I think Andy brings up a good point of all the different points that AI is going to touch. The way that I think about it, it's going to be prevalent in the tech of our lives. And this is transformation across an industry like we've seen before, the likes of the internet transformation. And AI is going to be like water. It's going to get into every piece of tech that we use, both on the retail side and in our consumer lives. So being at the forefront of being part of this movement and helping people bridge that gap to leverage AI to its fullest capacity from both a business and personal perspective is really interesting and a lot of fun to be part of.
It's almost like if you're not adopting the AI tools at your disposal, you will fall behind because that's what consumers are expecting. I'm curious, Andy, how do you feel like the Vitamin Shop is approaching it? I know you're working with AI from a product discovery standpoint specifically. Do you have any tea on the strategy there? Anything that you guys are focused on?
Yeah, everything we do at the Vitamin Shop starts and ends with the customer in mind. So we always take a customer lens, and some of the things I spoke about earlier. How can we make the experience easier, more education? So supplements, the products that we sell, there's a lot of education that's important to customers. So we're looking at all those areas. We're looking at efficiencies. Something that I think a lot of people don't think about is AI is used internally. And one of the things I'm really proud of is we're using it for accessibility. We have a gentleman on our team who's deaf, and we're able to transcribe every video call, so he's able to participate. And one of the best stories ever was many people don't even know, right? They're just working with him all day long and they don't even know. And we use AI to translate to foreign languages and translate back. So if someone's more comfortable writing in their native language and they want to put out a newsletter or an article, they can write it and have AI translate it to English and vice versa. So we're using it for content as we celebrate the diversity among our teams. I mean, all these things are really, really kind of simple to talk about, but they're really powerful tools. And I really enjoy what we're doing there. And then AI is in play for security as well, for cybersecurity, making sure that as much as we can, keeping our environment and protecting our customers' data. So I don't think there's an area of our business that's not affected by AI, from top to bottom, back end, front end productivity, and then all these customer facing opportunities.
I feel like there's so many opportunities. What about you, Josh? Anything that you're seeing from an outside perspective on the partner side?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. While Andy gave you the positive use cases, I'll talk about the market challenge and opportunity. And that is that, and as I mentioned, I represent the voice of the partner community, and I'm a career partner guy on the technology side. And I think the situation is that we, software providers, have forward positioned our capabilities as it relates to AI and other technologies quite a bit. Andy outlined a few use cases earlier, and I'll omit some of those details, but I think that's a challenge and a market opportunity for us that we're trying to solve. And really what we're looking at through the lens of not trying to legislate what partners in our world should be doing, but instead to try to bring to bear the reality of AI. Rather than the forward positioning of what technology can do, trying to focus on where we are today and the realism, and then trying to educate our retailers of how they can take that and apply it to their businesses such that they can transform and win their category, as you were talking about, rather than be left behind.
No, I think that that's an important point to make. And it's the other side of things where I feel like there are some concerns too, from a retailer perspective or even a consumer perspective. And I think that you guys bridging that gap and understanding where those challenges are is really important for people in a learning space. My next question too, and something that's top of mind and something that we talk about on this podcast is making sure that you're using it responsibly and making sure that it makes sense from a ethics perspective. There's a lot of data being passed around, and are you guys kind of warning retailers about that, and are you educating them about the woes and maybe the downsides? Although I know you just mentioned some really positive use cases, but is that top of mind for you guys to make sure you cover both sides?
Yeah, of course it has to be. And that's a big part of what the Retail AI Council is bringing to its members. We actually have a subcommittee focused on the legal, ethical, and putting things together. AI has the risk of exposing data that may be in some obscure file structure somewhere, and people don't know it's there. So I call that security through obscurity. You stick an AI on top of it, and now you're trying to expose things. So really making sure that you have a good, clean data strategy before you let the AI loose on it. There's risk that you get wrong answers from a Gen AI. I think it's called hallucinations nowadays.
Yes.
There's certainly risk there. So I think it starts with educating internally and making sure that all of our employees at the Vitamin Shoppe, we call our employees health enthusiasts, all of us health enthusiasts, that we understand what makes sense and what data that you absolutely should not share. And then, of course, there are tools from multiple different providers to make sure that it's walled into your company's data. So, but yeah, we can go on and on. I heard a fun story, fun to me, probably not to there, but it was AI gave a refund to a customer, and the company didn't want that refund to happen. And the company said, sorry, you can't have it. They end up going to court and got their refund. So, the AI may be more generous than the policy sometimes. So you have to
Oh
be
my
careful about
gosh.
that too.
What a story. That's why you got to watch out.
Yeah. And it was an airline, so it wasn't an inexpensive refund. And then it keeps changing, right? So maybe it's working fine today, but you come in tomorrow and you're getting a different answer. So a lot of that stuff. And this is just like Josh said earlier, tip of the iceberg. So we're cognizant and aware of all of this. Doesn't mean we won't move forward, but we need to move forward responsibly.
Totally. And I do think it is all about having that clean, consistent data from a single source. I think that breaking down the data or understanding the data is a problem in every industry. And just like you mentioned with the airline example, it's good to be aware of those challenges and pitfalls. But we're relying on data from a lot of different places, so we want to make sure that we're using it responsibly. Any thoughts on that, Josh?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question and topic. I think let me put it through the lens of my role at the AI Council, and when we think about how to use that data and use it responsibility as it relates to legal regulatory compliance, I like to think of the AI Council as our role is to educate the industry, and we're a content amplification platform. So while similar answer before, like we don't want to legislate the rules, we do want to bring them to bear. And one of the ways that we're trying to do this is to take that thought leadership content, publish it on our site so everybody has the latest and greatest, and also to do educational pieces. And webinars is a great way to do this. Let's bring together the leadership minds who are working on this and have them state their opinions. And that's just a great way we feel like we can bridge that gap and help everybody learn more.
So what I liked about our original conversation, Josh, you had a quote that that stuck with me, was that the tech providers walked, or the tech providers or the retailers are walking so the tech providers can run, or it was something like that. I'm wondering if you you remember which quote it was in particular, but I thought it really illustrated really the role in tech, bridging the gap between the technology providers and the retailers. Does this ring a bell?
Yeah. I'm looking at AI through the lens of the crawl, walk, run framework. And I think where retailers are right now are they're at the crawl. They're trying to learn how to take AI, how to implement it into their business and win. But when we flip it around and we look at it from the tech providers or partners, as we talk about it, they think they're in the run,
Yeah.
and they are positioning tech as the run capability. And retailers are, and this is the gap we're trying to bridge. This is the market opportunity and challenge. How do we educate the partners to understand retailers are at the crawl and deliver them content and actionable information and tactics such that they can leverage it in their day-to-day business.
Exactly. And I guess I'm curious, Andy, how is the Vitamin Shop keeping up? Is this council helping your team by being involved? Are they leaning on these experts and technology providers and the content that you guys put out? I know you have a specific criteria to what goes out, but how is it helping your team?
Yeah, absolutely. You won't find at the Vitamin Shop an AI strategy. We have a mission at our company, to help our customers meet their health goals, however they define it. And AI is a huge part of how we're going to do that. So we're not running around saying, how can we use AI? We spend all of our time thinking about that customer and what can we do to better serve that customer. And so it's a tool. It's an important tool. It's as I said, a revolutionary tool. But the end goal is not to implement AI. The end goal is to drive better value to our customers with every tool available to us, and AI is going to be one. And I know that's kind of a little bit of a word twist, but it's important that I really think it's important that we talk about that. That yeah, we're using the council to learn and to grow and to make sure we don't have missteps, learn from others, see what's out there, so that we can just keep delivering on our strategy to deliver health and wellness to the consumer.
Well, a lot of companies that are implementing AI, like you've already found tools that work for you and your business structure, especially internally, to give your customers the best possible experience. And a lot of the tools that you probably already have are baking AI in somehow. So it's kind of like, how can we leverage what we already have, maybe new features or something new and exciting or some education around that from that tool or tech provider? I know we just launched a webinar today that launched 7 new AI features for people who already use the Bloomreach tool, which is cool because you don't have to go and look for something new. It's kind of already baked into what you already have. I think that there's often confusion on like where to start and like, do you have to start over? And the average person is still learning, but we're really seeing that it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So I'm just curious about like how you guys feel like the council's helping retailers cut through the noise and things like that when they see those case studies on your site.
Look, working in retail, especially retail technology, is a lifelong commitment to learning. And where do you get the knowledge and where do you stay current? And, there's a quote that the pace of change has never been this fast and it will never be this slow again. And things have always changed, but they're just changing more and more rapidly. So the council's there to keep up with that, to gather all that knowledge, to put it together in a nice consumable way and to disseminate that. So it's really an amazing resource for all of us. That was Justin Trudeau, by the way, that quote.
No, I love that. And also, Josh, you would express that some of the submissions that you guys get on the site or anything that you feature has to have like a certain criteria or has to meet a certain criteria. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, happy to. So the way that we're looking at this again for the bridging the gap, making it real, proving that it works, and retailers can implement it. The criteria that we have to post content and case studies and amplify them is that our partner has to provide a case study that has 3 criteria. One, it has to be able to mention the retailer name. It has to be able to mention the AI used, and then it has to mention the KPI that it solves. And it can be increased conversion, revenue, and it does not have to be the exact dollar amount, but we're just looking for proof of concept that value is delivered.
So, speaking of your criteria in terms of the case studies that you guys feature, I wonder if that was informed by Andy's original story about not knowing if there was actually AI and technology behind maybe the Amazon example that you gave, or the AI company that you're working with before. Were those intertwined? Was that linked in terms of like wanting to just make sure that it's super transparent when it comes to recommending AI technology, but also the KPIs and the brands using it? Did they inform each other is my question.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was a specific, oh no, that we found something that wasn't real. I think that it's really clear that everyone's at different stages, and people always wonder who's ahead in AI. I think no one's ahead because it's so new and so changing. We're all at the beginning. And so, yeah, a lot of it was trying to understand what's real, what's not, where people are. And kind of the answer is everybody's pretty early in the journey, whether they say they are further along or not.
I agree, and I will just tell you from my seat in the council, I'm asking for the content. Um, I love it when I find a provider like Bloomreach who has case studies that meet the exact criteria we need, because I know it's real, and I feel very confident taking that content and amplifying it to our retail members, because I know there's value, and that's my role, is to make sure I'm bridging that gap, delivering that value. So it's an interesting spot that we're in right now in tech, and definitely glad that we can be here to help out and be a part of this movement.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you guys kind of helping bridge that gap. We're all about community. I manage our community, and that's really what we hear the most is like, how can I learn from other retailers who do exactly what we do? So, if you're interested in joining this council, how can people join and continue to learn and innovate on their own? Is it free? Do they just go to the website? Any information that you can share that would close us out?
Yeah, one thing I want to say is people shouldn't be intimidated to join. This is not just for techies. You could be a merchant, human resources expert, supply chain. You could work in marketing. Any area of retailer is open. A lot of our members are senior executives, but it's open to all levels, and it is absolutely free to join at retailAIcouncil.com. So it's a simple sign-up form. And our members are free to join with as much energy and effort or as little as works best for them. So we have a lot of different local chapters that are forming, committees and councils where people could participate, or if people just want to be a member and consume the content that we're producing, then that's a great option as well.
Free to join. Come one, come all. Come learn with us. Help us elevate the conversation in AI.
Well, I just appreciate you guys being such great partners, and I love what you guys are doing for the community. Speaking of, we have a case study with the Vitamin Shoppe on the site right now that you can check out. It talks about how they've managed to increase their add to cart rate and the AI that's being used. So a lot of really cool stats there that you guys can tap into and learn from. But thank you guys both for coming on the show. This has been so insightful. And as always, thank you for listening to the Commerce Experience podcast. If you guys are enjoying, don't forget to subscribe and rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening on. We so appreciate your support and couldn't make this content without y'all. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, click the link in the bio or scan the QR code on the screen. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Elena. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.